Time to start the bottom section of the fuselage now. I guess this will be episode 3. This is what I got left over for MDF here now. I'm going to start making up these two jigs here. It's funny, it gives you a good bit of detail on the second one, and the first one is bigger, they don't give you any detail. So, that's hard to figure out, but it gives you all the measurements there anyway. I'm not sure why they put a detail on this one. The only thing this on this one, not on this one, is it tells you that's a 3/4 inch thick plywood top, or doesn't matter really what it's made out of as long as it's 3/4. So I'm assuming that one's the same thing. So I'll start laying this out. I gotta cut out 2 of these and 2 of these and one top. So the front one's 28 inches and the rear one is 34. And well, I guess this one you got to make it whatever it measures cross top, and that one's 4 inches, I believe, yet. So that one's 4 inches, that's 34. The one I cut for up here was 32. If I planned ahead, I would have kept that other 2 inches on this one. All the same, what is the tube dimension? The tube dimension's 30. Okay, so they got some overhang anyway. I might go ahead and use up that piece there and reuse that. It's still wired in the structure itself, so it's good enough. Rather than cutting another 4 inches off my board, because you got to make all of this still yet. That's all got to come out of this. So I don't really feel like going buying another sheet of this stuff just to get the little tiny bit of material out of it. So I'm going to save what I can here. Well, time to start drawing and get cutting. I just drilled a hole in that. There you go. Well, there you go. 2 of them are done. As you can see, the size difference down here is a little off because I traced it and then I cut on the outside line, so it ends up being different that way. But top where it matters, I got that filed and sanded to match. Bottoms are same, and up front here where I gotta line it up on the table, same thing, I followed it and sanded it to match. So everywhere that's important, they're exactly the same. The rest of this, that don't matter, that's just bracing really, because you gotta screw this giant bulkhead on to that, so that bit overhang is just keep from snapping off the table basically. So yeah, start making this second one here now. I got all the jig blocks made up. Back one, I just took the one I had made before and cut it down. Second one and the first one, I had to do a little bit more overhang than the plan showed. They wanted 2 and what was it? 2 5/16. I went 4 5/16 because my table is 2 inches shorter than what the plans show. So I just got that little bit overhang. I'd rather have this overhang because that's nice and stout compared to having the tail overhang and having to build something extending out over the tail to hold that up. So yeah, screwed up from the bottom except for here. It was easier to screw it there on the first 2 because the center of gravity is past the table, I was trying to tip over, so rather than trying to get underneath and get at it, it was easier to go down. I got center lined up. I just used that block there and cut it purposely off square a little bit, so there was a gap on top, and then I just put a screw from the other side and loosen it and tighten it with a hand screwdriver to get it on center. So 2 of them are in place now. Now it's just time to mark out the other stations and start getting some tubing laid down. Okay, I got station 2 here, right in the center of this board. And according to the plans, between station 2 and 3 is 21 3/16. Going straight down. So I just got a 24-inch roll, clamped it, 21 13/16. And it's got it ran down to my T-square here like that. Just mark it out, and that's it. And station 2 is 30 inches, and so is station 3. So it's a square in this location. Jigs are on. Everything's all squared up where it's supposed to be. I got all the stations marked out. The widths, lines drawn to go, or show where the tubes go. So I'm gonna haul down one of the longerons now from up there. If anyone's wondering why my lift is halfway up, I've been using it as a ladder, I guess you could say. I just get on the arms and walks back and forth to get my tubing up off the shelf. Probably not the safest thing to do, but my cabin, or my ladder's at my cabin, so I'm not driving all the way down there to get that. I'm just gonna do it this way. So I'll grab that now and start cutting. It said 29 first, I cut it off at 27 and a half. The cut lengths on the drawings ends up giving you way too much on the ends to trim off when you go to coat it. If you're wasting 2 inches on every tube, by the time you go through 10 tubes or more, it's the line heading up. So I've been actually measuring from point to point and cutting it off what it should be, rather than going by the plan. Yeah, I'm getting somewhere. All the lower longerons lower longerons are kind of mocked up. The rear ones are all done, jigged in place, trimmed to a good length. So now it's just these front ones. As you can see, that one's a touch too long, and that one's way too long, really. Well, it's going to come back a little bit when I trims this one, but I got to get these bent up now and get those in, get it tacked. Then I can start fitting up the cross pieces, or the cross tubes. These are the little liner tubes that goes inside the longerons. They all got to be cleaned up, so this is the fastest way. 3 tie chuck. Got a wire bent to the angle, so I probably should cut it out. Yeah. Now. I'll rock it. Don't worry, this is just an old beater chuck. I'm not worried about losing the hardness in the jaws or any of that. Good first try. Let that cool down a second. That's right. Did bubble out a little bit, but I was expecting that. It's a little bit. Yeah. It's no big deal. It still fits all the way in the tubing. Yeah, it's still hot. Alright. One done, do another one. Alright, here's a little thing I've been doing to help me out. There's such a big difference in the size of the cross tubing compared to the longerons. This station is 1/8 tubes. So I need a 1/8 shim to make up for the difference of the 3/4 tubing. And up here is 1.25 tube. So I needed a 1/4 inch higher in order to get the center lines right, because that tube got to sit flat on this jig. So if this is flat on the jig, when I make it, then it's going to intersect the bottom, and then you're going to have all this up here sticking out. So I just figured out what size I need, just figure out the difference divided by 2, and then I just goes along and measures it. It's easier with 2 hands. Yeah, 125th out there, that's 1/8 of an inch. So then I just takes pencil and marks down it where I needs it, and like I said, in there, in that case I cut them off with a chop saw real quick. And then you just take it and stick it under your tube wherever you needs it. I do need another 1/8 and 1/8 there, because station 4 also has a 1-inch cross tube. I think starting at station 5 it gets smaller again. Station 5 is B13. B13 is a 5/8 yet. And station 4 is B11. B11 is 1-inch. So 1/4, 1/8, 1/8. Up here should be nothing. The Firewall tube is, I believe, is a 5/8 tube. B1, yeah, it's 5/8/035. So yeah, you need a couple 4 1/8 shims and 2 1/4 inch shims, just to make life a bit easier. This is what I'm doing anyway. I haven't seen anybody else do it, but it makes sense in my brain to do it. Whether or not you need to is up to you. I guess you're the builder on your airplane. I'm the builder on this one. This is what I'm doing. So yeah, figured I'd show you that. Might save somebody a bit of headache. Them shims are dirt cheap. It's about the easiest thing you're gonna get, and they're in an infinite size. And if you need thicker and more air, you just put 2 in alternate directions, and you can actually slide them together and get an even, flat measurement. which is also handy if you need something a little wider than just a point. So you just stick them like that. Theoretically that should be fairly level, and then you just slide them together as you need higher. I need two of them anyway to make my next two, so yes, might as well show you. They're not that consistent, as you can tell. Really, you don't need to be this precise. That's it. That's our 1/8 mark. Tighten my jig blocks here. And I'm gonna look underneath and line up, center those lines with my drawing lines on the table. You guys can't see it, but there you go. So now I got a nice 1/8 gap going all the way along. It should sit flat pretty well everywhere else. It does. So I'll just do the same thing over there then, and that's it. Longerons are set to height. I should also note that you can actually leave these in while you're putting the tube in, because obviously if you're sliding this underneath the tube intersecting it's going to be raised up, so it's not that bad. As you can see, my jig blocks are pretty tight. I can actually pull that out and it stays there. Should go up a little bit by rights, but just keep them in place, and then when you go to put that tube in, pull it out, make sure it doesn't drop. If you need to, you can put it a little back further, like right there, so you can get your tube intersected there and it'll be all good. Okay, I'm happy with the fit on these center longerons, I guess you call them, or something. Before I start working on the other end, I want to tack these just so they're not moving around and doing things I don't want them to do. Make sure everything's lined up. Center height's good. That all I want is a little small tack that way. If I gotta change something, I can. Let's do the other side now. I got some things marked up here. I got my firewall tube cut. I just got it left long. I basically just want it here to something to jig against or line up with. So I got it laid out where it's gonna go. It's long on this end. I just measured the angle. It's 10 degrees or 100, however way you want to look at it. Or it's 10 degrees off of this. 80 or 100 is measurement. So what I'm going to do is go print off the, whatever you want to call it, template. I'm going to cope this end at the right angle for 3/4 going on the 5/8 tube. Get that fitted up so it fits nice here, and then what I'm going to do is trim my excess off here, because sanding is another liner that gets put in here and bent. So that's just a straight cut. So I'll get that fitted first and then figure out where I got to snip this off, and that should be it really. It's a lot easier to shorten up an end with a straight cut than it is an end with a coped end, so that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'll be back when I get something done. Alright, here's how I coat these tubes. Rather than putting them in the vise and sticking it out either way, vise wants to clamp in and leave serrations and shit, so an old 3-jar chuck works pretty good. Now normally I put a line down the tube or on each end so the coax lines up, but there's only one in this case, so it doesn't matter where this goes. You line it up on any of them lines. That's the end. Obviously the two ends are in line, and Those ones if you want another 45. So you just wrap that around like that. Take a silver pencil or a Sharpie, whatever you want. Start marking it in. Go. Keep that for the next one. I got inside the line tin snips. Well, they have glasses on. Something you want to get tangled up. Now try to keep the cutter in the way the tube's going. If you go to grind it like this, you're going to end up with a gap. There you go. This is that 5/8 tube. See if it's good. They say it's going to be too long, but yeah, looks alright to me. All we do is shorten up that end to get this back to where it's supposed to be, and cut the other one here, do the exact same thing, and we can bend them liners. Well, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I got all the cross tubes and diagonal braces all rough cut. None of them are fitted or coped out or anything. But as you can see, there's a hell of a lot more going on with the bottom half. Back here is much the same as the top section. But underneath the cabin area, I guess you could say, well, that's exactly what it is, cabin area, and landing gear attach points and all that is much stronger. You have 1-inch hole 49 tube wall, cross braces and diagonals, and this one here is an old 58 wall and he's 1.25 inches. But this location here, that's where the front of your landing gear bolts up. That's the part that takes most of the abuse, your cabane V, which is your suspension, all bolts in this location. So this one got to be pretty stout because there's a lot of shit trying to twist it. And the next one here, that's your rear landing point, and it's also your strut attach point. So probably 50% of your wing load is on this point or more. I'm not sure how to math. I'd have to sit down and do the math and figure out where the strut attaches on the wing. Anyways, a good bit of your lift is on right here. And this next station, in my case, station 4, I'm pretty sure is where the rear diagonal brace or the rear mount for the float fitting goes. So all my weight when I'm landing is going to be on the front gear fitting and right here, unless I'm on skis, then it's going to be those 2 points. And it's a little heavier going to the firewall. You get some 3/4 tubing here instead of the little 1/2 inch stuff up there. But you get your 5/8 diagonals. So yeah, I think this episode is long enough for now. I'm definitely not going to videotape coping all these tube ends. There's 15 tubes I got to fit, so that's 30 ends that I got to cope, and they're all going to different size tubings. So it's gonna be a fun time. That's 5/8, that's 3/4, that's 3/4, that's 5/8, that's 1/2 inch, that's 1 inch, that's 1 1/4 inch. So there's a lot going on. So yeah, that wraps up this video. Me and the old dog are gonna go and get something to eat. Supper? Yeah, he's ready to go in. Which side I stand you? Your state was on. I won't play with you in the snow for a bit, eh? Yeah, today went much better figuring out the plans than yesterday, which is a good thing. So anyways, if you want to see more of this airplane build, there's going to be lots more episodes. So if you're watching this in current times, you're probably sitting at the house because you can't leave because of the stupid coronavirus shit. So if you want something to watch, keep an eye on this channel. Hit that like button if you like the videos, subscribe, leave a comment if you got any questions. Have a good one, everybody.